To hone in one of the bigger challenges, I would say in Canada right now, what we're facing is illicit market resurgence. You're from Toronto, Jay, so you know these stores are popping up, brick and mortar stores are popping up. We were dealing with 60-minute deliveries to your doorstep, and now we're dealing with stores on Queen West and King Street, and it's very annoying to see that when they're selling $20 ounces of cannabis tax-free. Thankfully, the Ontario government has earmarked $31 million to go after the illicit market, and hopefully we start seeing some enforcement action soon.
Raj, thanks for being here, notwithstanding my voice.
It's a pleasure, and I don't know what happened to your voice.
It's not good. Whatever happened
You should have started with me, Jay.
I know.
And then worked your way down.
It didn't sound that good this morning. So.
That's all right. You're still a killer, so the voice doesn't matter.
Nice. So you're a pro. You do this a lot, and you're speaking on Friday.
Yes, sir, I am.
About Canada, is that right?
Canada's always my topic for now. Hopefully international one day.
Oh, we'll talk about that in a sec.
Sure.
Yeah. Give us the current footprint of High Tide and Canna Cabanas.
Yes, so we're at 188 stores across the country, 5 Canadian provinces. We're the largest retail chain in Canada. We have been for quite some time. And we've just expanded our Cabana Club into US and Europe. And I'm very excited to share some insights.
Yeah, we saw that. Let's stick to the 188 first. That is, and growing.
Of course, always growing.
Which is different and apart from other large retailers who are shrinking right now in Canada.
Absolutely. I mean, when I say growing, we're growing at a store every 2 weeks.
Shit.
And I want to up that ante to a store a week in a year or two, so let's see where we go with that. But yes, we're growing.
There's several in my neighborhood that have been shut down, so if you want to open them up, it's like they're just sitting there waiting, but I think they're closed. Some are closing for good reason, others are opening for good reasons. And let's talk about the business challenge of doing that. And is there a secret sauce to opening 2 stores a month or 1 a week that you've either locked in or are trying to hone?
Look, you got to be good at your craft. It took us some time to understand the industry. I've always been a retailer, so it was not too difficult for me. I'd opened 19 stores as a private entrepreneur prior to going public.
What was the
smoke shops? I was in the smoke shop industry, so I had a lot of experience. But now, with the scale we have, with the resources we have, we think we can absolutely do 2 a month. I want to take that to 3 to 4 a month. But again, you just keep getting better at your craft as you go along, better relationships with the landlords, with the contractors. The end result is, if you're focused on good locations and you have the resources to build your stores, you go for it. And that's what's happening at Canna Cabana.
And you guys have an interesting, correct me if I'm wrong, you have an interesting strategy with your store location specifically. Can you talk a little bit about that and how you cite them?
Yeah, I'm particularly passionate about our store locations.
Yeah.
So right from the very beginning, look, retail is retail and retail is detail. And the first thing they say about location or retail is location, location, location. Don't mess that one up.
Yeah.
So we took that mantra very seriously, which I've always done all my life. And when we saw that, Ontario, for example, had no distance requirement between cannabis stores.
Right.
Yes, you can be on Main in Toronto, but you got 10 guys surrounding you.
Like Queen West.
Exactly.
Right.
Now those are good locations. Queen
Right.
West is a good location, but we decided to go in the power centers where now we're leveraging the foot traffic or driving traffic that's coming to Costco and LCBO and Walmart and Home Depot. And our stores are located in those power centers. They're shopping at Costco and they're also shopping at Canna Cabana. And I've got that exclusivity in that power center, and people are not coming to Costco from 500 meters away. They're
Right.
coming to Costco from 10 to 15 kilometers. So now I get all of that traffic into our locations, and hence, Canna Cabana does 2.6 times, the average of our peers in Canada.
Per store?
Per store,
Wow.
yeah.
It's a good number for you. Yeah.
Thank you. It is.
And High Tide investors, let's not forget them.
And shareholders, yeah.
I want to talk about a couple different things, and it doesn't matter a particular order. Let's talk about expanding the Cabana Club beyond Canada's borders. What's the thinking behind that? What's the offering, and how's it going?
Super excited about it. It took me a year in the making. We've been talking about extending Cabana Club into a global cannabis community. That was always the vision when we introduced Cabana Club. Mm-hmm. We always said we were going to introduce the paid tier, just like Costco. We went in that direction. And we started leveraging that. And just on December 2nd, a couple days ago, we announced that Cabana Club has gone global, which means we are now in the US market, inviting members into our Cabana Club and also selling elite memberships at half price right now. So if you're American or anybody in your crew is American, tell them to sign up.
Right.
And it's the same thing in Europe. We've done the same thing in Europe, and we're selling elite memberships, which is paid tier memberships in Europe as well. We already had 4 million customers in our international databases. So some investors may not know this, or your listeners may not know this, but we've always had our core business is brick and mortar, which is about 94% of all of our business, but the remaining 6% has been e-commerce websites. 3 of them in the consumption accessory space, or 4 of them in the consumption accessory space, 3 of them in the CBD space, and we had 4 million customers in our database. And we thought of what could we do to instantly convert all of these into Cabana Club. And Cabana Club is free to join, so it was a very organic move. It was a must-do move that we've been thinking about and planning to, and now we get to take our Cabana Club global. I think the opportunity is tremendous for Cabana Club in the coming years.
Is there an advantage of going into places pre-even legalization, right, with those ancillary businesses, because they own the customer before the market even hits?
Yeah, and not just own any customer, right? We're owning the cannabis customer.
Right.
You're using these pipes, bongs, vapes, rolling papers, even CBD products to some degree. You know about cannabis, or you're interested in cannabis, or you're buying these products to facilitate the use of cannabis. So knowing this, we're acquiring all of these customers, making them even more loyal. When you sign on to Amazon Prime, you're not leaving Amazon, you're buying at Amazon. Same thing, when you sign on to an elite membership in the United States or EU, eventually you're going to be buying other products from us as well. And that's why we also introduced the munchies category. Cannabis, munchies, complementary. And
That's great.
the snacks, the online snacks category, currently sitting at $113 billion annually, projected to grow at 14%, get to $220 billion. So we just added that to our portfolio as well, and now this gives us an opportunity. What can we disrupt next? What can we bring next to our Cabana Club community?
To activate that community.
Absolutely.
Can we shift a little bit?
Sure.
To you're a publicly traded company, and you are a vocal and visible CEO. Like I follow you on Twitter, follow you on LinkedIn as well, and everywhere I can follow you. But talk about sort of the transparency that you've been offering your investors, and what does that mean to them? And it's just come naturally, or like someone telling you, Raj, you got to be really transparent with everything you do because of X, Y, and Z.
I wish it was a standard theme in our industry where CEOs were transparent, companies were transparent. But I put my money where my mouth is, and integrity is everything. And once your investors lose confidence on your word in terms of what you're promising to do, and then you're not even halfway there, you're blowing your own scene up, and I don't believe in that. The right way to do business and the good way to do business and the more intelligent way to do business is to keep your word. So I think honesty and being open and transparent to your investors only invites more investors. It instills even more confidence where you could have right now. So I think that's very automatic for me, and I hope others are listening to, and others follow suit as well.
Do you wish that it would have been great if they had done that in hindsight too?
You think? Yeah.
Good thing I got to mind my business,
Yeah, I
my
know.
management. I don't have to worry about others.
If you want to badmouth other people's businesses, that's cool too. But it has been interesting to watch. Like Jeremy and I and you have been in the industry for a long time and seen ups and downs, and especially as investors and CEOs will come and go. Like it's not always that.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Yeah, and you even have your own studio in Calgary. That's what I'm told, right? Where you could do interviews and stuff. That's why I like talking to you, because at least it's pro on that end as well. Talk a bit about what you think are the challenges now, and maybe not in Canada, or maybe Canada, but here as well in the US. Like, what are the challenges that you see in the industry right now here?
To hone in one of the bigger challenges, I would say in Canada right now, what we're facing is illicit market resurgence. You're from Toronto, Jay, so you know these stores are popping up, brick and mortar stores are popping up. We were dealing with 60-minute deliveries to your doorstep.
Yep.
And now we're dealing with stores on Queen West and King Street. And it's very annoying to see that when they're selling $20 ounces of cannabis, tax-free, calling it sovereign land and everything else in between. Thankfully, the Ontario government has earmarked $31 million to go after the illicit market, and hopefully we start seeing some enforcement action soon. There's also a big advertising fine coming up, the $250,000 up to $250,000 on illegal cannabis advertising. That should be helpful too, but that's really been a bit of a challenge because we're on a roll, and we worked really hard to get here, and 6 years into legalization, we have to talk about illicit market ramping up is very annoying. That would be kind of the biggest challenge right now, I would say. And then just overall, regulatory landscape is a slow-moving snail sometimes. Saskatchewan is an open market, again, giving you a Canadian example because Canada's main market right now. But Saskatchewan is an open market between retailers and distributors or manufacturers or licensed producers. And we can do joint promotions, we can buy cannabis directly. We can't do that in other provinces yet. they're listening, and there's more appetite along those lines in other provinces as well. That will provide us ample opportunity in Canada and bigger opportunity in Canada, which does not exist today. So that would be the other challenge.
It would normalize the retail brand relationship.
Correct. It's normal in retail to begin with, in all retail sectors. Cannabis should not be treated differently, right?
How do you look at the U.S. market right now? Like, given all the regulatory stuff going on, moving pretty slowly, like, how do you evaluate that, and what's your in a significant way?
Look, love the U.S. market for the future, but I'm so happy I'm in Canada right
sure.
now. You know?
I
never
bet.
thought I would say that.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would say that. I mean, all the regulatory, one day up, one day down, is it going to be federally legal or not? Is safe banking going to go through or not? There's a lot there, but it's almost turning out to be an advantage for High Tide. We get to capture home turf. We're at 188 stores, north of $500 million in annual revenue. We get to take that close to $1 billion in the long term. When I say long term, we work pretty fast. You know, we're talking 2 to 3 years. We could get closer to $1 billion in Canada alone.
Right.
And we've practiced, perfected, and rehearsed our discount club model. Then we get to bring it to the US when they've sorted out the details here. So we're not losing out on it. We're taking our Cabana Club International right now through e-commerce. But when the US market is ready, in terms of, you know, when they have the regulatory landscape sorted out,
right,
I think High Tide will be even more perfectly positioned to act on what we are acting on in Canada today.
You're honing your craft, as you said.
Sorry, say that again.
You're honing your craft, like it matters.
You got to get better and better at your craft. Focus on what you're doing, and once you've accomplished that, then you've got your playbook for the rest of the world.
Yeah, it's a good playbook. Well, it's working. I don't know what else to say.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. And what do you see ahead, let's say 2025, in the Canadian landscape? I mean, you talked about going from 2 stores a month to 3 stores a month and opening. Are there other major things that you see impacting the industry in Canada?
So Canada, again, you know, we've got tons of brick and mortar growth ahead in Canada. I also think direct relationships, like I said, between producers and retailers could be a game changer for our landscape as well. We also know the edible landscape is not very good right now with 10 milligram limit per package versus our US counterparts are enjoying 1,000 milligrams, and I'm not an advocate to go to 1,000, but 10 is ridiculous, really. That's a federal government approach that, you know, we have to constantly discuss and lobby on, and we are doing that currently. Omar's working hard on that. But again, like I said, it's a slow-moving snail. That would become an opportunity when that happens, and I think more than 10% of sales could come back to us from the illicit market just on edibles alone. Like, our edibles portfolio is sitting at roughly 5%. In the US, that's between 12 and 15% because the rest sits in the illicit market. So that's Canada.
Right.
Internationally, I would say, you know, emerging legal markets like Germany is a very interesting one for us. We're very, very excited about what's happening in Europe. And 2025 could be a big year on international expansion, starting with Germany.
And what does that look like for a High Tide?
So, you know, the things are shifting quite a bit right now. So I like to think that we were quite ahead on that Pillar 2 regulation that was advancing before the German government collapse. Things can still happen, but it's a little bit up in the air now. But I always have a plan B and a plan C. And if you see a market is up and coming and the demand is going up, you know, medical cannabis is exploding in Germany right now. So we're looking at Germany in a very creative way, and we might be able to share some interesting things with the market going forward.
I like it.
If you want a place to break some news.
Not here, because my legal is not next to me. However, we're an exciting company and we're doing exciting things, so stay tuned.
Yeah.
Well,
awesome.
we look forward to it. Thank you for making time. Good luck on Friday on your panel, and we look forward to seeing you back in the North Country.
Thank you so much for having me. I hope you get your voice back.
Well, nobody else does, but thank you.
You probably won't, though. But
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you so much.